Some of you may have heard of the experience machine, a thought experiment put forward by philosopher Robert Nozick. Seeing as this is a video on YouTube on a channel that's mostly about anime games, some of you may have seen the comic by Merryweather, where a time traveler goes to the future and finds everything deserted, all humans hooked to machines that can make one experience anything they want, all the positive feelings in their brain, hooked to the machine for eternity, until they rot. All probably statements you heard from your parents, but ignoring that, it sounds very foreign and scary, doesn't it? Dystopian. Having your entire human experience be reduced to nothing but the good feelings in your mind, described by R. Nozick as a way to get the desired results without having to go through the experience. The joy of gaining a friend or lover without going out. Soaring through the sky. Isekai harem, would plugging into it just for a second fulfill all the needs in our monkey primate brains, to such an extent that even if we were conceptually scared of spending our lifespan in the machine, we'd want the return, because nothing in life is better. So I'm here to do one thing. Play devil's advocate as I do in most of my videos. Sell you on the machine, the Happy Cube. Because in reality, it is real, and just like every other technological advancement, it sucks, it isn't even cool, dystopian, barely does anything, changes nothing, and wastes resources of this world and your time. This video series will fully spoil these 3 games in their entirety, and if you have a shred of brain power in that noggin of yours, as in the ability to connect some dots, this video is basically a spoiler minefield purely because of the game's overlapping themes. I will still keep the prologue and the gameplay summary sections at the start of each, if at any point you'd like to tap out and play them yourselves. Highly recommended. And without further ado, in today's episode of I Wish Women Were Real, we have You and Me and Her, a meta-horror visual novel, a predecessor of the entirety of the mascot waifu meta-horror genre. Probably. That's what I've heard. A game that has made my 22-year-old single ass give you unsolicited romantic advice. Screw going to bars to get laid. Ladies, what you should do is get cat ears, put yourself in the box in the middle of the park and meow at passerbys. Before making me question if I will end up being alone forever, and realizing that I am way too normal for any of your game recommendations, including this one, definitely this one. The game starts completely letting down your guard by being the tropiest visual novel known to man. It even has the swords and pipes, my wife is the King of England self-indulgent protagonist monologue that describes their ideals and outlook that will be challenged during the story. Life is like a staircase. You just gotta keep climbing. Otherwise, if you start to overthink it, you'll have trouble taking the next step. There are no branching paths. No point in regretting the actions you didn't take. They say life is a series of choices, but that's nonsense cooked up by the old and bitter. Yesterday leads to today, and today leads to tomorrow. One step at a time. What lies ahead? You won't know until you get there. Our protagonist Shinichi finds himself on the school roof on behest of his best friend Yutaro, admiring the view of the town scene from here, before hearing a ringing of a phone at his feet. Picking up the phone and seeing that the call is coming from a contact named God? Huh? Sadly, God doesn't give Shinichi enough time to pick up the phone. One scary number input screen in a visual novel moment later, our protagonist accidentally opens what seems to be a visual novel, in which we see a girl on a guy's lap, saying she needs to recharge. He recognizes her school uniform, but this is the first time he's seen one of these things. No, I'm not talking about the girl, I'm talking about the visual novel. His train of thought is soon interrupted by... She's real! My favorite, nails on chalkboard. The girl soon sways and falls, as Shinichi catches her. Whoop. The girl says she needs to recharge. What in the life is strange is happening here? She asks to get Seppi, as Shinichi remembers the school rumor. If two people kiss on the rooftop, their love will be eternal. Sometimes when searching for a relationship, people do crave for some sort of superiority over the other person, whether it's mental or something. Taking care of a person we find cute, or a person, you know, who's a little bit off their rocker, who we can support with what we do. I was about to say I'm into mental, but no, I'm immediately Freudian slipping. I am into mentally stable and employed women. We sadly get interrupted by a black-haired girl, her name Sone Miyuki, Shinichi's childhood friend, who says they're her boyfriend. With this context, I don't feel like getting Zeppe was the correct option. She is considered the most sociable, beautiful, awesome and great girl in class, confessed to by many, some confessions more, questionable than others. She has also almost crippled an annoying guy, with the baseball bat she is holding right now, while Shinichi is just drifting through life, staying invisible, the classroom potted plant. Get me out of here. Mystery girl over here talks like she considers herself to be a character from a visual novel, and immediately nails Miyuki as the childhood friend trope. The girl calls bullshit on Shinichi and Miyuki dating, calling herself a transceiver, saying that God sent her a radio transmission from beyond the universe telling her that they're not dating. How do you walk out of this situation? Okay, hypothetical scenario. How do you get this woman into the mental ward? Miyuki is visibly angry with the situation, having her complex feelings compared to a video game character, so Ping here asks us to kiss Miyuki to prove our relationship. Shinichi remembers the childhood days of being close with Miyuki. Where did it all fall apart? They have the romantic tension of two sausages on the gas station roller grill. Miyuki says something strange. She's glad that Shinichi invited her up here. This will be her first kiss. But they pussy out, and so the cookie crumbles. Yutaro, the homeboy! The actual author of the letter, our friend who invited us to the rooftop, appears. He was here to confess to Miyuki and wanted us to wingman? And so Miyuki leaves, fuming. Her expression is still completely blank. I don't have the first clue what she's thinking. Nothing. Now left with Aoi and Yutaro, Shinichi attempts to ask the mystery girl with a flat expression what the recharging thing was all about, causing even more of a misunderstanding. Asking the real questions over here? No, it is not cool. The girl keeps talking about raising affection points and triggering flag events, calling herself Aoi, a romance option, before saying that this world is a video game. However, she follows up saying that Miyuki is the main romance option, and that her route will have to wait, and then she leaves. Yutaro describes Aoi as an enigma, but he cared more about why Miyuki was angry and why Aoi was coddling us. Turns out Muko Aoi is from his and Shinichi's class. Shinichi just never noticed. In today's episode of How do I over-edit a visual novel, Shinichi doesn't remember Aoi existing, albeit he doesn't remember the names of half the girls in his class. But that grade A space cadet, she stares into space, makes telephone noises, randomly raises her hand into the air, and she's about to flip his life upside down. But that's for after Shinichi smooches his pillow. Next day, a letter in his locker, saying meet me at the roof after lunch. Yutaro interrupts Shinichi promptly, calling him a goddamn normie for getting a love letter. Akebono Yutaro is the captain of the Boys and Dreams Club, a club for boys who want to pursue their dreams. They're the only two members. Shinichi was basically dragged to join. The club is threatened to disappear, not because two people aren't enough, because you can't pursue a dream you're living in. The moment you achieve romantic fulfillment, nada, you're booted. And Yutaro, unfortunately to all of us, takes the club 100% seriously. He lent Shinichi a phone with the visual novel from yesterday installed on it. He says he got it from his brother Ryujiro, who seems to know about these things. All it took was to show him an image of IRL Aoi. Yutaro also tells us not to set our sights on her. There's been rumors of her sleeping around, which hey, I would believe. Let's get Zeppe is incredible Riz. However, Shinichi and Yutaro think otherwise. In their eyes, she's someone who can't even hold a simple conversation. This is a lot of assumptions to make from the bare-boned antics of yesterday. You have not tried to hold small talk with her to see how she responds to a regular conversation, like she'd have in the background with her parents or her family or possibly her friends throughout her life. You could assume that she's completely insane off rip, honestly, because you would hit her, so how's your family? I don't have a family, we're in the video game. Smiles. The game on the phone that Shinichi now gets to keep is considered an NTR classic. Both of them don't know what that means. During class, Shinichi launches the game, and everything happens almost the same as it did in reality. Even the protagonist's name matches his. Is Aoi messing with Shinichi? Does she actually like him? She must have been trying to intentionally recreate the scenes. Skipping ahead in the visual novel, inside the visual novel, we see a scene of Aoi with cat ears in a box holding a kitten, saying she's a mommy cat. A short joke exchange later, Shinichi back in reality thinks that this doesn't seem too far from what Aoi might pull. After all, the letter is right here. Roof time. Even in autumn, the sun is as harsh as ever. There, Shinichi sees his childhood friend, already angry, knowing who wrote the letters inviting them both to the rooftop. As they stand in silence, Miyuki practices her swing. She has scored a major role in a play, Go Mets, about softball. A few quips about Miyuki already being a pro, and the two break the ice. The way she interacts with him, some bite and jokes, reminds him of how she used to be in the past. But now the two agree that they given up on each other, and Miyuki, stumbling over her words, says that yesterday was all an act to help Shinichi get out of the situation. There is an unspoken agreement between the two, that they're only childhood friends, nothing else. Shinichi considers maintaining his distance from her as crucial. Miyuki steers the conversation back to talking about Aoi, and the fact that Aoi is treating everything like a game attitude infuriates her. Shinichi asks for Miyuki not to be so hard on Aoi. After all, having a poor grip on reality can be easy for her either. And so Muko Aoi interrupts them. She says she can tell reality from fiction, that this world is a game, Aoi a romance option. When asked for proof, Aoi attempts to make the international watermark appear by stripping. Other option for proof? Calling the god of visual novels. Since the world is a game, according to Aoi, it can be patched, updated, changed. And so she starts dialing. While Aoi dials endlessly, seemingly doing the same activity that knocked her out yesterday, Miyuki speaks a bit on Aoi's family situation. The fact that it's complicated. She also has heard that Aoi sleeps in a different bed each night. Whose bed? Who knows? The two decide to convince Aoi to come down and talk, having to explain to her that one should not jump off the smaller roof onto the roof. Shinichi realizes that this creature has no common sense. Miyuki attempts to the best of her ability to tell Aoi that yesterday's confession she did to Shinichi was just a misunderstanding, and Shinichi in his mind agrees that it's for the best. Feelings are such a foreign concept to me now at like growing to age 23, because all of this seems stupid, because in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, being in a relationship with someone is a commitment now. Like, you actually have to commit to try and spend time with them. You have to commit to inevitably living with them. They will inevitably come to see your quirks, come to find out things about you they may or may not like. It's as much as a feeling as it is also weighing the options. Emotionless robot sounding a monologue. I mean, you can't robotically weigh the options of whether you like somebody when you like somebody, and then whether you truly cope and is it truly healthy is a question for often later, but when making the choice now whether to hide your feelings. The back and forth is bad. It's time for Aoi's plan A, friendship plan. There are a lot of questions about her life, where she sleeps, but here it boils down to In real life, in a situation with an insane person like this, I would pick the be friends option to see of how much the messiah complex kicks in. Oh no, guys, I gotta save this girl, guys. Guys, I gotta teach her of common sense, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that option, actually. I wanna be friends to make her mentally sounder, if possible. Shinichi ruminates that maybe if Aoi had a couple of decent friends, she wouldn't be like this. However, they say men and women can't be friends. Miyuki refuses adamantly. Her and Aoi are fundamentally incompatible. Time for plan B. Blackmail. She'll send this picture to the whole class. Miyuki would be able to cover for herself. After all, being friends with someone like Aoi is way more embarrassing. If Aoi actually wants friends, she'll have to work to change herself. Besides not wanting to be on a first-name basis with Aoi, that's the conclusion that Miyuki leaves her with. Aoi, after being shouted at, thinks that Miyuki is cool. She is truly marching to the beat of her own drum. Aoi has no idea what the last sentence means, by the way. Shinichi has to explain to her that she shouldn't show the photo to the class, because Miyuki would get mad, even if Miyuki gave permission. Zero social understanding goes onto the list. We're off to a great start. Shinichi doesn't really want the photo to get out. Even if Miyuki could smooth over the rumors, Shinichi enjoys his normal, invisible school plant life. So we're slowly starting to character profile the protagonist. Almost everybody in this game are very well-written teenage characters, so trying to save their own ass. Aoi says that she doesn't really understand friends, the concept entirely, so Shinichi decides to trade emails with her, telling her that it's the first step in becoming friends. He grabs her phone to send an email to himself. It doesn't go through. No bars. Muko seems ever so slightly saddened by the fact they can't trade emails, so Shinichi does it the old-fashioned way. Aoi asks if this now makes them friends. Shinichi says yes, that once you're in each other's phone, you're pretty much friends, as well as humoring Aoi's request to talk on a first-name basis. Say no! Say no! Just say no! You're trying to teach her common sense! Don't pity her like a little animal. The next day, Yutaro has found an artifact. Female underwear, right in front of his door. I'm leaving the club. Place his hand on the shoulder. As Freud said, it's a gamble you might have to take. Once Miyuki enters the classroom, she gets swarmed by friends like any other day. Except this time, Aoi stands up, apologizing for yesterday. With a smile, Miyuki tells her not to worry. Can we be friends? It's interesting how I mistrust every character in this game. Our friend from the club is blind incompetence. He brings private matters to the public of us wholeheartedly. He would not notice that we're torn about this girl and would go for her and then boast about it. And our character is not really emotionally ready for that in any way, sort of way. I don't trust her to be a good friend to the mentally ill girl. I feel like she would be a step away from one wrong statement to absolutely be pissed at her to the point of doing some horrible, horrible things. Miyuki is pushed into doing her cookie-cutter kind responses to Aoi, as Aoi tries to get closer over and over, asking to spend lunch together, help with homework, teaming up for an art project, hanging out after school. Every shot denied. My concern at the time was that the obviously annoying, persistent actions of Aoi would get pushback from the entire class, who would understand Miyuki's agitation, but wouldn't be as kind towards Aoi, or Miyuki herself doing something a bit rude, even if by accident. Shinichi finds Aoi standing in the rain at the front of the school gates after he lost track of time. The gymnasium lights are already off, so seemingly Miyuki and her clubmates have left for school a while ago. Aoi is just staring off into space, ignoring the rain falling on her. After all, there are no CGs of her catching a cold. Shinichi hands her his umbrella. He, in his own words, is too chicken shit to share an umbrella with a girl, so he takes out a backup umbrella. Why do you have two umbrellas? Aoi says it's dry under here after taking the umbrella. She has never used an umbrella, has she? There is an undeniable charm to a woman who knows absolutely nothing of the world whatsoever. Shinichi agrees to lead Aoi back home, and they finally figure out that no calls or emails reach Aoi's phone, albeit she doesn't want to change hers out. She says that this is the only way to contact God. God's signal is special, it won't answer without enough power. God is very powerful. It's the person who made Aoi. Shinichi quickly dismisses the thought that she could be talking about her parents. She, once again, asks if she's not friends with Miyuki because they haven't traded emails yet. You can't learn a person's bounds without making mistakes, so it's better to still say no at this point and be like, you have been causing a little bit of trouble for her, and inevitably it will probably end up making you off worse with everybody. She will say everybody's a meaningless NPC. It's an actual puzzle game of how to not to trigger her, like, do not trigger this girl's stick. Soon, Shinichi and Aoi reach the place where Aoi stays, not lives, a manga cafe. After a few normal concerned questions from Shinichi, they go their separate ways for the night. Next morning, Aoi continues her pestering of Miyuki, like nothing happened. Meanwhile, Yutaro is defeated. The panties, and no, he did not eat them, they actually belong to his younger brother who likes to crossdress. He doesn't need to finish this sentence. At lunch, Shinichi heads to the roof, as he often does. The door is open already, and there he finds Aoi, dialing away. Her eyes fixed on something beyond the farthest reaches of the sky. Something formless and imperceptible. After coming up to join her, Shinichi is stunned at the view of the town he gets to see. Aoi says that this is a special place. She already ate lunch. It was seemingly all just sweets. Shinichi says she should eat healthier, and gets called out over his ultra-carb diet. He argues that his diet is balanced, because he pulls out the worst drink known to man. Tomato juice. I am sorry everyone, Shinichi is no longer a self-insert character. I cannot relate to anyone who drinks this concoction of pure unadulterated hatred. Okay, he admits it is bad. Whew, video saved. The game knows me. The game literally knows me. I'm literally him. That's a morbid thought. But you know what, let's go with it, I'm literally him. Letting her finish up the can of terror, she chugs it in one go and she likes it. It goes next to curry and takoyaki and melon buns on her tier list. Aoi then once more goes game mode, comparing what happened to an indirect kiss, asking if Shinichi wants to trigger Aoi's root flags. Shinichi ignores her and apologizes for encouraging her about becoming friends with Miyuki, telling Aoi that it's his fault that she got hurt. Aoi, as one might already expect, has no concept of hurt. After all, Aoi says she has a save file, any mistakes can be fixed. She can reload as many times as need be. If this were the case, her personality would make a bit more sense. She never has to own up or live with any mistakes she makes. She can just keep resetting and figuring out plans to make the optimal results happen. Shinichi just says wrong and thinks that that's no way to live, and Aoi needs stability in her life. She needs friends. He bites into his food and then makes his decision. After the sun sets, Shinichi walks out of his house. He enters an old dilapidated indoor batting cage, from which an infrequent crack of the bat can be heard. It's the place where him and Miyuki used to hang out as kids. The clerk would on occasion let them play for free, so they spent a lot of time here. And there is Miyuki, swinging her bat with mesmerizing mastery. No wonder she got the role. She'll completely steal the spotlight, if the audience won't spend their time staring at her fluttering skirt. Shinichi's showing some envy, since she says she'll be wearing one during the play. You can hit a couple of zombies with that. After Shinichi denies a go at hitting the ball, Miyuki immediately guesses that he's here to talk about Aoi. He immediately begs. Aoi's pestering has annoyed Miyuki. She says the reason that it annoys her is that Aoi keeps pretending at being friends without making an effort to think about how Miyuki feels. When both Shinichi and Miyuki were younger, Miyuki was a precocious, self-centered child, taking insults as truths, working to change herself, but then trying to rub the change into people's faces, trying to degrade them. She has worked hard and intentionally to break her old habits, to become a better person. Meanwhile, Aoi is there, treating the entirety of existence as a game. It's only natural Miyuki finds someone who downplays their every flaw and personal responsibility infuriating. But Shinichi says that's exactly why Aoi needs both of them around. She's going to mess her life irreparably if she keeps living the way she does. But if the two of them were there for her, maybe she'd take life a bit more seriously. Miyuki says that Shinichi hasn't changed a bit before giving up. she'll help him. But Aoi has an obvious ulterior motive, the blatant attempts at trying to get Shinichi and Miyuki together. Shinichi once again tells himself that he doesn't want to get closer to Miyuki, and that they'll probably both get hurt if he does. But he puts that aside for helping Aoi. Miyuki gives some sad, envious sass, sausages on the roller grill, I fucking swear. She asks for a favor. The role she's getting may be her big break. Shinichi goes, "Congrats! Woo, awesome for you!" trying to be as distant as possible. Stumbling over her words a few times, Miyuki says she can't disgrace herself up on stage. Then she changes her mind about asking Shinichi for help. Shinichi doesn't get to hear what she needed from him. According to her, it's her own problem to handle. According to Shinichi, her habit of stacking her plate a little too high is coming back out. He says she puts too much effort into her classroom act as well. She calls him a loser. He calls her a tryhard. They laugh as she then gets ready to smack the ball again, saying thanks. There's just something about Shinichi that makes her really believe in him. The ball she hits flies off. It feels like that ball might tear the fabric of the universe into what lies beyond. In today's episode of High School Musical but Meta Horror, Yotaro's brother is a crossdresser, a femboy. He even models for work. Yotaro is having trouble understanding what to do or how to even emotionally take it. Like any other day, Miyuki enters the classroom, Aoi once again attempting to talk to her. Even Yotaro looks on in pity. But this time, Miyuki asks Aoi about homework and says she'll go over it with her during lunch. A surprised, happy "got it" comes from Aoi. And so, the mood in the classroom shifts. Shinichi hopes that the whole class will follow suit soon. And this inspires Yotaro to reach for an understanding. He too shall start cross-dressing. Shinichi, Aoi, and Miyuki all meet at the roof. Miyuki isn't that happy being dragged into having lunch with the two. Shinichi teases, guessing that the reason for her unhappiness is the memories of the confession made here. They all soon climb up onto the higher roof and get captivated by the vista once again. Miyuki tries to apologize for making fun of Aoi, but Aoi didn't even notice or understand at all. They all unpack their meals. Miyuki looks on in terror as Aoi's meal is 90% chocolate. Meanwhile, Shinichi's, once again, pure potatoes. Don't you worry, Aoi's got tomato juice ad placement made with 90% of children's tears. Miyuki agrees with me, deaf to tomato juice. She opens her lunchbox to reveal the ultimate childhood friend trope lunch. Octopus hot dogs and little rabbit apple slices. Shinichi and Aoi are the ones who need to shape up and make some normal lunches. They proceed to both tease Miyuki about her food being all cute, then about her blushing. Aoi hits us with the food tastes better line. It tastes better because you're with friends now. Aww. Miyuki says, friends? Plural? Only for Shinichi to go, come on. She is right. It's a bit early to call this friendship. After lunch, Miyuki tries helping the avoidant Aoi with homework. It takes too much energy, says the tired Aoi. She won't drink coffee to solve this because it makes her pee. For other options of recharging, Aoi pulls out a hairpin that is partially melted, that she plugged into an electrical socket to recharge once. Yup. And so, the days start to pass as the three of them spend their lunches on the roof. Summer? What? It shouldn't be summer. It shouldn't be summer? The entire prologue of the game was in autumn. Why is it suddenly summer if only days have passed? One day, Miyuki bargains Aoi into doing homework by tempting her with the juice of the devil. Another day, we learn that Miyuki is on a diet, so she looks on at Aoi's lunch, which is just cake, with envy. Aoi soon throws it off the school roof. Friends are supposed to share struggles. On another day, Miyuki asks Aoi if her parents made anything for her lunch. Shinichi explains the fact that Aoi is currently staying at a manga cafe every night. With a bit of contemplation, Miyuki says she'll lend a shoulder if Aoi needs to talk. She may not be able to help her, but she'll at least listen. She, with upkeeping appearances, has actually gotten a sense of responsibility in her. If she only slowed down on the keeping up appearances, she would be like a great person. Aoi immediately regales us with a tale of a time when she almost got kicked out from the manga cafe. What happened? Power outage. Because Aoi stuck her hairpin in the wall socket. Shinichi, hearing that, has a moment. On another day, Aoi, once again, only has a can of tomato juice for lunch, so Miyuki ends up sharing her lunch. Aoi really likes it. It's as tasty as tomato juice. Miyuki isn't sure if she can take that as a compliment. On another day, Miyuki makes lunch for all three of them. Classic childhood friend move. Trad wife, trad wife. And without realizing, as the days passed, Miyuki got used to Aoi calling her, well, Miyuki, even against her wishes. We're once again temporally displaced, even more so that the seasons are completely wrong for the couple of days that have passed, but let's not worry about that one. Time is going backwards. Let's not worry about that. This is problem, because we have started this growth journey, but we don't really see how it impacts their life during the school days, during the actual social aspects where everybody's around. How does Miyuki treat her when everybody is around and has this one heck of a child learned the difference between those two social situations. Again, the baggage that black hair girl over here, Miyuki, is carrying is probably ahead of everything else. That's why child might be getting mixed social signals in different social situations from Miyuki and not really understanding what and why they are there, making her even more kerfuffled and confused. My concern is immediately addressed by Miyuki carrying the responsibility of these three on her entire back. She acts friendly with Aoi in class, and Aoi herself is now holding conversation with a few other people too. Yutaro, however, is beat up. His parents found out about Ryujiro's secret hobby. His dad is an authoritarian hardass, so he flipped his shit. And that's when Yutaro realized, just like Yutaro feels about the BD club, the irony of the name of the club is not lost upon me. His brother must feel the same way about his hobby, so Yutaro took to arms. He is an absolute badass. During lunch, the regular squad of Shinichi, Miyuki, and Aoi climb up to the smaller roof again. Shinichi looking at the ground as Miyuki climbs the ladder, Aoi joking that she's showing up her ditzy side. They all decide to take a photo together, a selfie, all mushed close to each other. She's smiling in the photograph. She's smiling. That's a scary habit to not smile while doing everything else except taking photographs, as if you're really hiding something. This would be the sane person's explanation for what happened here. But in reality, she goes, I gotta smile in the CG gang, and then she smiles in the CG gang. Soon, the gang also notices that Aoi is smiling in the picture. Aoi has no clue how that happened. They soon trade email addresses to receive the picture, since it was taken with Aoi's phone. But, just like last time, no bars. After Miyuki assures Aoi that they've been friends all along, even if Aoi has no connection on her phone, Aoi smiles outside of the photo as well. However, after attempting to dial, Aoi says that if she cannot call God, she cannot save the game. Shinichi thinks that he can't blame her for saying that. If this was in fact a game, it's understandable that she'd want to save and memorialize this occasion. Aoi says that the school is the starting point of the universe, and here, this rooftop, is the center of said universe. Both Shinichi and Miyuki have learned to accept these little quirks of her speech, internalizing them in their own ways. With the pretty landscape visible from here and the time spent here, this rooftop has truly become special for all of them. Aoi says that it all starts here, and here it will eventually end. Shinichi is proud of the progress Aoi has made. He lustfully looks at Miyuki's number that he has now, but he pulls himself back again. He considers this as deluding himself. The emotional distance between the two hasn't, at least to him, changed. And of course, the photo Aoi sent is yet to arrive. Aoi and Shinichi head to the gymnasium to meet Miyuki after her practice, only to immediately be screamed at by a girl. She hides behind the door, she's shut in our face. She says she is a little shy when she sees a familiar face. She'll go call Miyuki for us. Aoi says, a new romance option, you better not cheat. Shinichi can cheat on a girlfriend he obviously, totally doesn't have. Miyuki walks out asking what did we even do to make Haru scream like that. He is still timing, Aoi interrupts. Shinichi uses the previous excuse here. Miyuki, looking dejected, says that Shinichi's got a point. The gang talks about hitting up the batting cages together sometime. They decide on tomorrow. As they walk into the street, Miyuki says she forgot something and leaves Aoi and Shinichi alone. After another statement from Aoi that Shinichi dismisses, Aoi states that there is a bug in Miyuki's route. Shinichi acts as if he doesn't want to get closer to Miyuki, but only because he secretly wants to. Shinichi responds by saying, "It's not cool to treat people like roots in a visual novel. People don't exist so you can date them." Aoi states that she does. Aoi was made to fall in love and have sex. That is the whole reason God created her. Shinichi denies that, but Aoi continues, pushing that she could get us off no problem. If we're worried about Miyuki, we shouldn't. Love and lust are two different things. There's nothing wrong with wanting. Shinichi stops her, saying that she has to promise to never make such statements in public again. Aoi asks why not. "Isn't it obvious? We're friends, and I care about you," Shinichi tells her. "You're not a stupid sex toy, not some tool created by God to screw." Aoi bursts into tears without realizing it herself. And Miyuki suddenly comes in, whacking Shinichi over the head, assuming that he did something to make Aoi cry. She tells her to let it out. However, Aoi says she's happy. Shinichi said something nice that caused this to happen. Miyuki names these happy tears. Shinichi sasses Miyuki up for hitting him. Outside of that, with Aoi smiling and crying, it seems that the effort the two put in is finally paying off. At Aoi's request, Shinichi and Miyuki follow her into town, only to stop at a shop called Catnip, the gift shop for cat lovers. It is filled with various cat-themed merchandise, and Miyuki is staring silently at it. After all, she was supposed to be busy on the day, but when the gang told her that that's where they're going, she immediately said, "Let's go." It seems that she really likes cats. She's not emotionally prepared to go inside, but she gets dragged in. Miyuki is in complete bliss. Aoi walks out of the dressing room with a kitty onesie that RKO's Miyuki. Miyuki points to some cat-shaped hairpins on the display area, one of a kind handmade, both slightly different. Shinichi asks if he should buy it for her, since she's been helping with Aoi and stuff. Miyuki keeps denying any idea that she'll take it, while Aoi in the background goes, "Do it!" Miyuki says she'd just give it to Aoi, so all that Shinichi can do is usher the bickering girls outside. Shinichi makes a purchase. In this episode of How Will This Go School Days, I do think Miyuki and Aoi are already both somewhat like our character. Aoi is begging me not to give it to her. The game has been sorta pulling the leg of your choices don't matter. You are on a ladder. Things that happen are going to happen. Listen, I feel like giving it to her is going to have consequences later. Thinking realistically, writing-wise, if I was taking care of Aoi, she has to learn the lesson to, judge people and their intentions and what they want and how to cope with it. She's inevitably a child in high school. I mean, she will probably learn to be look at it somewhat like that in due time. So I end up choosing to give the hairpin to Miyuki. Miyuki hands it off to Aoi. However, Shinichi has different ideas. He got the second hairpin as well, that he ends up giving to Miyuki. Yeah, he was based. He made my choice not matter. What a giga chad. Aoi shows up the hairpin. Man, she needs a comb. Miyuki is already stunned by how easily Aoi can pull stuff like this off, unlike her with her more serious demeanor. They accompany Aoi to the manga cafe, as Aoi promises she'll only wear the hairpin for special moments that mean a lot to her. But of course, before leaving, she once again sours the mood between Shinichi and Miyuki, saying that this is the time to confess. The two now awkwardly waddle towards Miyuki's house in silence. Shinichi simply mutters, "It's been a long time, hasn't it?" What? I guess she just keeps how many days since Shinichi and her last walk home together in her diary. Alright. She's glad that they're friends again, but asks how does Shinichi actually feel about Aoi. She still finds it strange he'd go out of his way to help someone this much. He also did make her cry for an unknown reason. He responds by saying he wants to be friends with her, and more than that, protect her. She's by herself most days, staring into space, waiting for a call from God. Nobody to talk to. Her family situation unknown. If Shinichi does nothing, he'll worry himself to death. Miyuki's been thinking about that this isn't some video game, this is real life and she's a real person. Miyuki wants to make Aoi come to terms with reality. That's the best thing they can do for her. This once again awakens memories in Shinichi of how Miyuki used to be. Maybe Miyuki agreed to help out because she sees a bit of her old self in Aoi. Shinichi asks what helped her back then, and Miyuki responds that he did. He nominated her as a lead role for a play. At the time he thought that with her precocious nature, she'd work to perfect the role more than anyone. And so, it happened. The play was her reality, and real life was her fiction. It helped her stop getting worked up over small details and become more socially conscious. She really knows how to play the part, doesn't she? Shinichi's the only one who sees right through it. And soon they reach Miyuki's house. She speaks on what she wanted help with earlier, the statement that she cut short back at the batting cages. She tells him not to tell anybody about this before she hesitantly explains that in the play, there is a kiss scene. Shinichi as always goes, sounds intense, good luck with that. Miyuki says that it's her first time. She hasn't had her first kiss yet. Shinichi does the most awkward, yeah, it must be intense, wowie, talk ever. The kiss is the climax of the play. Shinichi asks why she doesn't just ask the other person to practice. She told him that she'd wing it, so she's gonna do her best. Shinichi says he's rooting for her. A sad, whispered thank you rings out, before Miyuki says see you. During the play back in grade school, Shinichi was cast as her boyfriend. He was awkwardly flubbing lines, but Miyuki completely sparkled. She was extremely convincing, even in closeness. But soon the curtains fell, the spell broke, and she became the queen bee of the class. He went back to being no one. As Shinichi once again thinks to himself that he'd just be dragging her down, them being friends should be enough. In today's episode of All These Women Are Effed Up, Man, Yutaro's brother confessed his love to him, since Yutaro was the first person to defend him. Man is not having a good time. After Miyuki walks in and realizes Aoi's not in class, Shinichi also has a bad time. Aoi then walks in. She is a little late, but she says she slept through her alarm. She seems fully worn out, completely exhausted. After school, Shinichi goes to the roof, where he finds Aoi attempting to transmit again. She says that today seems like a good day to do it. She'll save the game if God answers. Shinichi is slightly disgruntled by her gamer nonsense, but he wishes her well on her call. Her eyes once again stare beyond the sunset-colored sky, beyond the reaches of the universe. Aoi has noticed some more distance between Miyuki and Shinichi. Shinichi says that nothing happened, and that he's happy to be Miyuki's friend. Aoi calls him a liar. Shinichi loves Miyuki and Miyuki loves Shinichi, so they should get together. It would be dumb not to, is what she says. Shinichi decides to open up. He tells Aoi about the climax of the play. He says since he's Miyuki's friend, it doesn't matter that she'll be kissed. Once she's famous, she'll find someone who deserves her, someone better than him. He has made up his mind forever ago. Being the one who is there through the struggle and work is a lot more important and a lot better than being one who just appears there at the end. If life lines things up like that, you might as well just accept the happiness you can get while you're also struggling with the rest of your life. Hopefully both parties are willing to put up with the fact that one of them might be not putting in 100% into their relationship. But you know, a lot of the times you just gotta, in the cases where it says somewhat plain as this, you just gotta go for it. It's a fact that you don't really see that much in life. Today, at least in most, I should not use the word of civilized society here, but like, a lot of people who are not struggling with livelihood or, you know, abusive or something. You know, sane people tend to build their life first and look for relationships later. And that isn't a bad or a good thing in particular. You can have a lot of meaning joining somebody in a struggle. Shinichi, are you scared of being cucked? Is what Aoi asks. This is possibly the only way she understands this, as she lifts her phone into the sky once again. Her eyes shine with an unearthly glint. Suddenly, something feels off. I look up to find dark clouds whirling in the sky above us. Moments ago it was a perfectly sunny day, but now stormy winds rush around us. It feels as though time itself is being swept away into another worldly portal, leaving us caught in the purgatory between dusk and night. The world is caving in. The protective shell falls away and the borderline falters, threatening to reveal what lies beyond. Aoi? What are you doing?
新一のイベント CG 充電完了神様に電波届くの世界をアップデートするの
An update patch? Like the kind of thing a computer program would download off the internet.
このままだとストーリーに無理があるの新一みゆき結ばれないのそれは良くないのだから世界を書き換えるのみゆきが寝取られないように新一以外と結ばれないように
It surprisingly sucks to suck, Shinichi, if you get conked for your backwater backing off behavior. That's kinda what it is the thing to do. Rewriting reality to have your own way is somewhat unfair morally, and even if there is a bit of regret in that, it's hard to say. If I could rewrite life to have 20 cosplay girlfriends forever and ever, did I struggle in my life to reach what I want if I do this? Is there a point to a struggle when you can just have what you want whenever you want? You can bend the world to your will. Would life be better, or would it get boring? This is conceptually terrifying. Shinichi is basically living as an observer with an entity who, on a whim, seemingly can change what happens in reality. Look, canonically thinking about it, if Shinichi was Shinichi, he would probably just stand there and do nothing at this point. He is a very active person for what he believes to be done. Yes, he even extended his hand out to Aoi. So it's... I mean, he wishes it inside, but this isn't ideally justifiable. What angle do I take? Because I would go stop her, but at the same time, Shinichi would be probably just standing there being like, yeah, sure. Go on ahead. You know what? My game, my option. Shinichi stops Aoi from doing what can never be undone. At least that's what the voice inside tells him. Aoi asks if we're sure. She says we're heading for a bad ending now. Is that what we really want? Shinichi believes that nothing in his life can be considered a bad ending. It's average, but fun. He doesn't need to date Miyuki either. He's fine with things as they are, as he's always been. And he's right, life doesn't end with one event. I have had partners throughout my teenage years, a lot of long-distance stuff, and it all seems surprisingly silly looking back. These relatable games of jealousy and hierarchy Shinichi's experiencing now. At age 22, I'm meeting or messaging a lot of these ex-partners every half a year to catch up, seeing how their life moved on, listening to them talk about their current hobbies. It's always fun. I never just dated them because I was only down bad. I did it because they're cool people, and that hasn't gone away. We were dumb kids at the time, and life just moves on. Responsibility and change comes. First love is something that lives on with you, but that's it. It's a life experience, a memory. It can be a formative one in many ways, but everyone changes, from their outlook on their past selves to their circumstances. What tomorrow will bring, no one can tell. After the clouds part, Aoi stumbles, exhausted. She says her battery is dying, but she doesn't want Shinichi to call off their plans to go to the batting cages. And so, They go. Miyuki and Shinichi try to teach Aoi how to swing. Miyuki's attempt at teaching not going too well. Meanwhile, Shinichi, after making Aoi just hold the bat so the ball smacks into it, gets called a great teacher by both. Oh, it's so cute and happy, I can't wait for it all to horrifically fall apart. They watch Aoi hit her first swing, and Miyuki talks about how Shinichi taught her to play, and how she would have never gotten the role if not for him. He immediately says that it's her own years of effort. You're the one who gave me the opportunity as always, she says. Shinichi still considers himself and Miyuki light years apart. Miyuki asks that Shinichi should give swinging the bat a try again. However, I respond to that request, he'll destroy everything the three of us have built. Oh, boo-hoo, go swing the fucking bat! Mister, I don't wanna trigger the flag. It's incredible how, through avoiding normal interaction, this guy manages to avoid any possible advance or forwarding in the relationship. And then he's gonna be crying in the end. This may come off as a snide at some of you, but I was brought up with some ideologies that I somewhat wish to bring to future generations as well. I grew up hearing occasional stories of my aunt's or mother's misadventures at dances in their teenage years, climbing out of windows to meet guys, and other various movie-esque shenanigans. So I've been taught a simple ideal. You can always like someone, but that still means you can spend time, have fun, even act as a couple. There's no rush to give it any labels or other meaning unless you're really pushed or really want to do it. Albeit it was also served with a big "don't get anyone pregnant for the love of God" speech. It's a great outlook that has brought me a lot of memories that I am incapable of regretting. Your values and circumstances might be different, but that doesn't change the fact that Shinichi right now really infuriates me at the moment. As a teenager, I thought everybody grows up forgetting their struggles, but I won't, right? I'll have him in my mind to help young people in the future. Nope, all understanding of inexperiencing mistrust and envy gone. Just hit the fucking ball, Shinichi. Go have fun. Because of the growing pressure of not wanting to hit ball, he interrupts Aoi and Miyuki setting up a game, reminding Aoi that she felt tired and saying that we should probably leave. Miyuki shouts at Shinichi for making excuses, rightfully so, saying that he never used to be like this, asking him what he's afraid of. Aoi staggers, giving his excuse validity, as Miyuki stares angrily. Confront his ass. Confront his stupid ass. Confront his stupid ass. Confront his stupid ass. Let's go! Let him talk about some of the most embarrassing things he's held up inside of him, and then laugh it off. And give him a pat and give him a hug. Come on, it's that simple. As they walk, Miyuki promises not to be mad if Shinichi gives her some advice about the play. Aoi asks if it's about the kiss, and Miyuki immediately gets mad. She had told Shinichi not to tell anyone about it. Shinichi gives his, well, we're all friends, I thought it would be okay excuse. Meanwhile, Aoi says, through her own twisted lens, that Shinichi doesn't want to be cucked. He hates the thought of Miyuki kissing or being with other guys, so he refuses to fall in love. Miyuki in a low voice asks if it's true. She takes it as him thinking she'd fall for another man, thinking lowly of her, which is the case. Miyuki is pissed, having held back around him for so long, and this is what he thinks? In tears, she says that she should have never agreed to this. She should have never gotten close to him. Miyuki runs away. Shinichi feels that he needs to say something. Anything. But he stands silent. Everything Aoi said was true. He has no excuse. Aoi asks if Miyuki's mad. If it's her fault, Shinichi simply responds no. This was fated to happen sooner or later. They're not kids anymore. Their circumstances are complicated. They overthink things, walk on eggshells, freak out over nothing. Miyuki is like the moon hanging in the sky, on a pedestal far out of Shinichi's rear. Aoi says that this is the bad end route and that we need to reload our save. Ignoring her gamer brain spiel, Shinichi looks to the sky. Life is like a staircase. You just gotta keep climbing. Otherwise, if you overthink it, you'll have trouble taking the next step. There are no branching paths, no point in regretting actions you didn't take. They say life is a series of choices, but that's nonsense cooked up by the old and bitter. Yesterday leads to today, and today leads to tomorrow. One step at a time. Shinichi says that he's not cut out for anything but a normal life, but when he looks back down, Aoi is gone. Who was he even talking to? He receives an email In it, the picture of him and Miyuki, Aoi nowhere to be seen. And so, Miyuki's performance came and went. Everyday life continued. Miyuki and Shinichi not talking at all. He didn't see the play. He can imagine her kissing the romantic lead, but he cannot care less. They're no longer friends. He's trapped within the confines of his little world, living out a normal life. The story will come to an end before he knows it. No rising action, no climax, no falling action, no tidy little resolution. What I deserve, don't you think? He mutters, looking at the photo on his phone. 3 years later, Shinichi actively watches the show Miyuki is an actor in. She's acting a crazed character, saying she'll get back at someone. She's really selling the role. Miyuki gazes at her male co-star with fervor in her eyes. No surprise there, rumors are she's dating him. Shinichi says he doesn't care, albeit he is crying, but at least he knows. She's the happiest she's ever been. You know what? Let's get ourselves our GF. Shinichi is rooted in place. He questions, does he actually believe in Aoi's god? The ringing cuts off, and God picks up. There's a tear in the fabric of space. It opens out of nowhere and begins to consume. The shadows feel away. The colors vanish. Sketches pitch and skew. The lines fade away. The whole world is starting to glitch. That's so you and Miyuki can be together, yeah. That nonsense already. The game has been reordered so that Shinichi and Miyuki can be together. Some weird video plays on Aoi's phone. Shinichi picks it up, saying she dropped it. She stumbles. Just as they leave the rooftop, Shinichi finds an email in his inbox. The image actually got through. Seemingly the phone only works when she actually gets a signal with God. It is so funny that he has a magical ghost photograph in his phone where it's where nobody's holding the phone for the selfie. Oh, he made a new save file too. No, all of the save files are mine. Aoi says that there's no need to worry about bad endings anymore. Just as Aoi is about to speak out a turn, outright telling Miyuki that Shinichi is afraid to be cucked, they spot a box in the middle of the street, and soon they hear a meow from inside. Guys, we will never get cucked because there is always going to be a random fucking cat. This is an insane power. This is an insane power. There's going to be random situations that distract her from trying anything. This is some causality bullshit. Just like that, Miyuki's fury evaporates, and there it is, a kitten in the box. Miyuki looks away, but Shinichi and Aoi describe the kitten. Aoi names it Arrow immediately. As Aoi tries to show the kitten to her, Miyuki sneezes. Turns out Miyuki is allergic to cats. She tells them to keep moving, and Aoi gets in the box. And the scene we previously saw in the visual novel in the phone happens. However, Miyuki refuses to help. Aoi doesn't have a place to live in, no pets allowed in the manga cafe. Shinichi has to go to school. His parents are working somewhere else, so leaving the tiny kitten alone for the day also doesn't sound like a good idea. Aoi says that if they don't rescue the kitten, the bad end route flag will trigger. Miyuki warns her that if she tries to adopt the cat, she'll cut all ties with her, and with that, she walks ahead and away. Shinichi remembers her words. I want to help Aoi come to terms with reality. That's the best thing we can do for her. Aoi's gaze is different hearing the words. She's looking for something she can't track down, not knowing what cutting ties means. After an explanation, Aoi decides that she doesn't want to cut ties with Miyuki and leaves the kitten for someone else to pick up. With tears in her eyes, she's now learned to be sad and to cry. Aoi is changing for the better. Shinichi is sure of it. At home, he daydreams. What if neither Miyuki nor him was there for Aoi? She would have adopted a kitten and promptly left living on the streets, kicked out from the manga cafe. To Aoi, God exists. It's the only way she can feel validated in the way she chooses to live her life. A just God would favor people who do good things. If he was there, if he was just a phone call away, would he answer her prayers? Is he out there somewhere, beyond the sky, and it's raining? Shinichi quickly runs outside to go to the box and grab the kitten from it. However, the box is empty. One can hope that someone came and picked up the cat. Suddenly his phone rings. It's Miyuki. Turns out Aoi is not at the manga cafe. She retells some of the information she got from the staff. Aoi had asked if the staff allow pets. They said no, and then Aoi bolted out. The staff do not know to where. Miyuki wonders if Aoi is even fit at taking care of a kitten. Nope. The two try to brainstorm where Aoi would go. One would hope her parents' house, but seemingly since she hasn't gone there at all, they can't think of anything. Shinichi thinks deeply about the time he spent with Aoi. There must be a clue to where she could be. There must be. The visual novel, the game she seemingly acts out scenes from, so Shinichi rushes back home. It's a Netarare game, and in the game seemingly she is the only love interest because nobody said that the other girl exists in it. So did she patch the other girl in? Does she have someone else Aoi actually likes that she patched in so she wouldn't hurt us? That's my current guess. But why is she's so emotionally dysfunctional at the start? Maybe the emotional dysfunctionality came with the understanding that it's a video game and that no matter what she does, she ends up in the scene that happens. And it's probably what the game ends with now, honestly. It is that she's just trying to get our character away from the pain. Oh, that's a fucked up train of thought. That's a very horrid guess. Shinichi now thinks a bit more. He's skipping through scenes, through the past and present day. But what if he read further? The protagonist will probably hook up with the heroine in the end, so will Aoi act out that part too? He's interrupted by Miyuki finally reaching his house. Together, they set out for the school. Linoleum. It's such a funny word to say. Linoleum. There's a trail of water drops leading towards the gym. Following it, Miyuki asks why Shinichi went home after having an idea of where Aoi could be. He's not sure how to explain the game, but Miyuki says he can tell her later. They enter the gym and shout for Aoi. The cat meows, Aoi goes shush. She doesn't respond to any calls. What can only be heard is muffled sobbing. She's crying because Miyuki told her to leave the kitten, yet she didn't listen, so she thinks Miyuki was gonna cut ties. Miyuki of course takes it back. She wouldn't have gone looking for her in the rain if she didn't care about her. Aoi jumps out, giving Miyuki a hug, kitten in the pocket. Miyuki loses all rationale after seeing the kitten, being mad at Shinichi for not having a face mask. As the gang waits for the rain to let down, Miyuki brings everyone some warm corn chowder to drink. Aoi pays back by getting tomato juice from the vending machine. Miyuki refuses to drink. That's my girl! Aoi hits her with the "Do you hate me?" No! Both of the women in my life are insane and like tomato juice! The gang then goes to get some food for the cat. Some pasteurized milk at the corner store that's owned by Yotaro's family. To not cause Yotaro antics, Shinichi wouldn't like to be spotted with the two. Plus, Aoi is in the kitten onesie. Aoi walks into the store alone, leaving Shinichi and Miyuki together. She did that on purpose, didn't she? Aoi is just doing what she thinks is right, Shinichi says. Sure, she can't tell reality from games, and her clinical lack of forethought, but he can't dislike her for that. Miyuki contemplates what it would be like if she did what she felt was right for herself. Me, as the hypothetical ghost adult who's floating above this adolescent man, is being like, you can contemplate these choices as much as you want, but acting upon them rationally is a completely different ordeal. You probably have had a lot of thoughts about how you act in school or how you should act with a certain person, but you never acted upon that. It's because it's hard, because we're people, we're creatures of habit. We just do what we're used to 90% of the time, and we justify what's comfortable to make ourselves sound like the good guys. You are inevitably good people, at least the way I see you. You should take all of these ideas and all of these thoughts for when you move on to a different stage in life. There you go. That's nice. That's nice and cool. I'm 23. I'm 23. I shouldn't be giving wisdom. I'm fucking 23. I'm a fucking moron who hasn't tasted wildlife. Oh my god. You know what? Maybe I want to be 50. I want to be a wise old man, just suddenly raising up. They sadly hear a meow from behind them, and with that, Aoi's operation alone time is considered a failure. Back home, they feed the kitten. Turns out Haru, the girl from the theater club, was working behind the counter. Good thing that Shinichi didn't go in there, that would have made her run away. Aoi says that it might be how her root flag gets triggered, and announces herself a flag crusher. Miyuki is staying outside of the room because of the cat, her face pressed against the glass window of the door. She envies Aoi and Shinichi getting to hang around with the cat, and hands Shinichi her phone to take pictures of the cat with. The holy mission. Aoi says Arrow is a transceiver cat, and that it can pick up emotions. Arrow wanders off towards the glass door and has a stare-off with Miyuki, licking the glass that she's leaned against. Miyuki is a fan of cats. She says she likes what she can't have, as they both look at Aoi, who's fallen asleep with Arrow cradled in her arms. Miyuki always took issue to Aoi's actions, thinking that she would set her straight, but now Aoi has turned the tables. Shinichi and Miyuki are the ones who are changing. It's a breath of fresh air. Miyuki stops to tell Shinichi something, pulling him close. She says she's done clinging to the past, and asks Shinichi to kiss her. But Shinichi still tells himself he can't fall in love with her. The pause gives ample opportunity for Miyuki to thoughtlessly say that she doesn't want her first kiss to be on stage. She wants some practice in first, and so roll a reversal of the last route. Shinichi is the one who pushes her away. To be a practice partner, is that all she thinks of him? He's basically repeating the words that she had said to him last route. Aoi pops out, sadly ranting about the fact that they're so close to fully getting along, before she stumbles once again, giving Shinichi ample excuse to call it a night on this get-together. Miyuki says she'll help to bring Aoi back to the manga cafe. Shinichi denies her and begins his walk with Aoi. Aoi doesn't want to stay in Shinichi's place because it would trigger a risky event flag, and the hospital wouldn't help her recharge. As they walk, Aoi asks why Shinichi became friends with her. He thinks about his response for a moment, not wanting the photograph to spread. The fact that Aoi reminds him of Miyuki when she was younger. I see you wanted to help Miyuki, says Aoi before stumbling once again, saying that this is where they say goodbye. Once on a route, all other girls fade into the background, so Shinichi will forget about her soon enough. He'll forget leaving her here. Shinichi, in a once again Giga Chat moment, piggybacks Aoi, refusing to take her word. She's light. Too light. Shinichi worries about her not eating enough. She responds saying she drinks tomato juice every day. You should eat something with more calories, says Shinichi as he carries her. Aoi says that she's been having fun. All the long-forgotten emotions are coming back, telling him that she likes him a lot, loves him. Teases him a little afterwards before saying that being friends with them is the best thing ever. Maybe there could have been an Aoi route, but this is the Miyuki route currently. Aoi once again states that Shinichi won't be cucked. Aoi has rewritten the universe so it doesn't happen, as Shinichi thinks back to the time. It must have just been her reenacting a scene from the game, right? Our little booper hops off of his back next to the manga cafe, already looking much better, all thanks to the event CG, as they go their separate ways for the day. Bro, he was angry at Miyuki, meanwhile in the other ending he didn't chase Miyuki, but Miyuki's gonna chase him because she actually has balls, unlike this guy. Our every morning companion gives us good news of his brother having a crush on someone. He then begs Shinichi to help him win over Miyuki, but gets interrupted as the person in question walks in and drags Shinichi to the gym to talk privately, Yutaro cursing echoing through the halls, Shinichi worrying about the rumors and the fact that they'll be late to class. Miyuki stares. "You're hiding something from me about Aoi, aren't you?" says Miyuki. Is this her validating getting pushed away yesterday, or is this her just asking about how we found Aoi? Has both of these concepts meshed into one in her mind? She asks about how we figured out where Aoi was, and with pressure, Shinichi confesses about the game. Miyuki, surprised, asks if he used the game to predict the future. Shinichi says, "Wowzers, Aoi must be really dedicated to following the game's script, huh?" Miyuki asks if Aoi adopts the cat in the game. She does. If she's acting it out, did she go to a shelter to pick up a cat only to place it on the road? Shinichi says that maybe God answered her prayers. Miyuki, eyes wide, says she needs to go home and check something. She'll call him later, and she runs off, leaving Shinichi to go back to class, back to his desk, apologizing for being late. Looking behind him, Aoi is not in school today. And now, Yakisoba-han. Shinichi had hopes that these days would last forever, but their friendship has been fucked up ever since Miyuki confessed on the rooftop. Shinichi knew she meant every word of it, and yet he let himself get close to her anyways. It's better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. Quote from fucking Mind Your Language. Shinichi's thoughts get interrupted by an email from Miyuki. She wants him to meet her at the batting cages tonight. He imagines the upcoming play, the mesmerizing acting of Miyuki drawing the audience's eyes until the scene of the kiss, where she'll sacrifice her first kiss to make the play a roaring success. In the audience, Shinichi stands up, saying "Hold it," dragging her off stage, saying that he's not lying about how he feels. He curses himself for his stupid fantasy. He just troubled Miyuki for his selfish desires. He is factually correct. Love is a complicated subject. Most people come into relationships with their own life experiences, the firsts they've already had. The moments that one would consider special may be trivial for another, from basic kindness and care to more, other things. To actors, acting out romance is one of these common things. To accept the fact that your partner does that is a fundamental choice you make starting a relationship with them. It is in no way a loss, it just requires finding special moments elsewhere, in the time spent together, other activities. Hell, maybe they just keep their work and private lives healthily separate, finding joy in getting their partner to experience such things. Loving someone is a unique experience, and what we consider special moments are individual to each of us. Or maybe that's what I like to believe with my history. Tomato, tomato, everyone picks the ideology that is the most convenient to them, and the everyday life they like to keep in their grasp. Shinichi wanders around town, looking for Aoi once again. No amount of theorizing will help him find out about her. After all, he understands. He basically knows nothing about her. At home, he reads the email from Miyuki over and over again. He knows what Miyuki will say, and it will end up uprooting their entire friendship. Someone rings the door, persistently. Behind the door, Aoi sounds panicked. She stumbles into the house, white as a sheet. She has lost her phone. Without her phone, without the ability to call God, her memories will be erased. Shinichi will help, but he's got plans tonight. He, for some reason, can't bring himself to say he's meeting with Miyuki. Aoi clings to his sleeve, saying that she doesn't want to disappear. He's reminded of Miyuki. Back then, Shinichi was all she had. He's got no special talents, the ultimate nobody. He knows this, but he still wants to help her. He wanted to hold his head high, knowing that this is something he achieved. Maybe then he could accept himself for who he is. He reaffirms Aoi. He'll help, shooting an email to Miyuki telling her that he's busy. Aoi already looked everywhere, from the batting cages to the manga cafe. The only place she hasn't yet is Shinichi's house. Retracing her steps yesterday, Shinichi gets distracted once again. Aoi still looks sick while searching. She's not stopping to rest. Shinichi's only option is to find the phone. Wait, phone? The visual novel. This should be a scene in it. He loads the game to give it a try. Aoi follows him into his room, saying that it's no use. The universe has a glitch. This event isn't in the game script. Aoi's battery is dying. One CG isn't enough. God has abandoned her. Without her phone, it's all over. Shinichi gives her a little pep talk, walking out to get a towel to wipe her sweat with. There must be some way to convince her to go to a doctor. He calls Yutaro for help. Yutaro, the absolute Giga Chad, with no questions asked, rushes towards Shinichi's house. Shinichi comes back into his room with a washcloth, where the already scantily clad Aoi asks him to wipe her down. Aoi whispers, "Sorry, Miyuki," as she forces Shinichi to look at her, with desperation in her voice. She says she's made to collect event CGs. Without them, her battery will die, and Aoi will disappear forever. Shinichi wants to deny the game-esque claims, but her suffering is tangible. She says she doesn't want to disappear. Not after meeting them. She doesn't want these memories to disappear. They don't have to be more than friends. Please, just this once. Shinichi can't bring himself to tell her that her god is not real, that she's deluded. Tears roll down their cheeks, and then... A ringing of the door interrupts. He gives Aoi one of his shirts to wear, and heads to open the door. Yutaro sure got here a bit faster than Shinichi expected. Friendship is such a beautiful thing. Miyuki! She comes in, placing her baseball bat on the ground, asking why is he home? What happened to something came up? She notices Aoi's shoes. Bro, I thought this would get worse. We would get zappy and then we would get walked in on like the incest animes. She angrily says that we ignored her request to meet her only to stay with Aoi. Shinichi tries to excuse himself, but Miyuki barges in, wanting to see Aoi herself, the cat even trying to cling to her leg to stop her. Shinichi gives the full excuse, the full rundown of what Aoi said about losing their memories and disappearing. Miyuki looks in shock at the fact that he seems to actually believe that, then back to anger, as she says they had plans, and he chose Aoi. She finally walks upstairs, bursting into the room, but it's empty. Miyuki asks where Aoi is. Shinichi replies that he doesn't know. Maybe she snuck out already. Without her shoes? Then I guess she won't be needing this, Miyuki says, pulling out Aoi's phone. There is a gasp heard from under the bed. Miyuki had found the phone lying outside the batting cages. She came to give it back. Since Aoi's not here, she'll be leaving. Aoi can be heard from the bed as Miyuki drops the phone, conveniently right towards where the meek voice is coming from. Shinichi tries to stop her. Miyuki, with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes, asks if he's hiding something naughty, before she drags Aoi from under the bed, still partially disrobed. Miyuki draws back her hand, but Shinichi grabs it to stop her. She shouts at Aoi, "I thought you wanted to help me. I thought you wanted me and him to get together, so why did you make a move on him?" Shinichi tries to say she got the wrong idea, but Miyuki says that he cares about Aoi more than her. She knows she hurt him with what she said, but this is too far, tears forming in her eyes. Aoi stares blankly, expressionless again, hand raised in the air, saying her iconic phrase, "Got it." She says that she is the one who tried to seduce Shinichi. Aoi is a transceiver, a space case, every bit as slutty as the rumors said. Are the words that come out of her mouth. Miyuki attempts to strike Aoi once more. Shinichi shouts for the two to just stop, asking Aoi why did she say that. Aoi just blankly says she's got her phone back. She can load a save file. After that, she'll disappear, and we'll never see her again. Then she runs out of the room. Shinichi tries to chase her but gets grabbed by Miyuki. She forces him to look at her and says that the practice stuff was just an excuse, but she's finally ready to say it. Shinichi this time has no escape, no convenience to be able to say no, to hide his belief about him weighing her down, about his jealousy. He's scared. And she gets to finish the words, to say that she's in love with him. What she just said will destroy everything. Slowly, Miyuki's lips draw near. Her lips. I wanted to kiss them so badly, I've been seeing it in my dreams. We're only inches apart now. I can feel her rapid, shallow breaths against my skin. I can smell the faint scent of her perfume. So His phone rings. It's Yutaro. He's probably calling about Aoi. Shinichi realizes that he's using this as an excuse, but he turns tail and runs either way. Miyuki sadly says, "You're choosing a phone call over me." Yutaro calls him a scumbag for throwing Muko out in her condition with a kitten in tow. He says he'll watch over her for now since Shinichi's got his handful, it seems. He owes him one. He hangs up, looks around, but Miyuki is already gone. On today's episode of Life is Like a... Oh boy, the menu is now yellow! Yutaro's dad was opposed to Aoi going back to the manga cafe while sick, so she'll be staying at his place for a while. He says she seemed better this morning already, but he told her to rest up. Yutaro, after hearing that she's not on good terms with her family, suggests that Aoi could stay with his family for a bit, even if both Shinichi and Yutaro don't know any more information. Again, fucking Giga Chad. And I take back my compliment immediately. Shinichi feels someone silently staring at him from behind. He turns to see Miyuki. Without saying hi to anyone, she hands Shinichi an envelope with a ticket to the play, saying she'll be waiting. Shinichi doesn't hide anything from Yutaro, saying that Miyuki confessed her love yesterday and telling him that he's not interested in a relationship with her. One very normal reaction from Yutaro later. Shinichi lies alone on the school roof, ruminating the same thoughts as always, liking her even if he doesn't want to. He'll do nothing, time will pass, and Miyuki will fade from his life once again. The next day, Aoi is gone. Yutaro and Shinichi searched the city, and she was nowhere to be found. The teachers would just simply say that her family moved away, didn't leave an address, and as always, no calls reach her. Without saying goodbye, without anything, she just abandoned them. The world moves on. To everyone, she was a weird girl in their class. They've gone back to their normal lives, and so has Shinichi. He wakes up, he goes to school, he goes to class, he eats lunch. He tries to stay awake through classes. He goes home, watches TV, goes to sleep, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Nothing special happens. Life goes back to how it was before that fateful day. Him and Miyuki never talk, but something has changed. Permanently. Something that cannot be undone. Miyuki is the center of attention as always. Rumors about the love confession appeared and faded, everybody thinking Shinichi just made it up. No one saw any reason that someone of Miyuki's caliber would take a romantic interest in someone like him. Shinichi thinks that in their shoes, he would have thought the same. Everything has gone back to the way it was, before Aoi appeared. Yutaro getting into his antics. Ryujiro, Yutaro's brother, broke up with his new girlfriend suddenly, and now with his good looks, he's become a full-fledged playboy. As for Shinichi, he's rooted in the spot. The performance that will take Miyuki's first kiss is happening tomorrow. He still looks at the photo. A friendship he can never get back. He can't bring himself to go to the smaller roof again, the center of the universe, etched with so many memories. He won't look for Aoi, she probably wouldn't want that anyways. She practically threw their friendship away, and Shinichi doesn't blame her for it. There are no save points in real life. There's no way to reload for him to try again. Still, he'll keep moving forward, one step at a time, a quiet, normal life. In bed, he dreams of the performance, Miyuki kissing her lover to massive applause. She kisses someone who's not him. He's not in the audience. He's nowhere. He's nothing. Shinichi plays games. He can't focus, trying to watch TV, lying, doing nothing. The longer he sits, the more he feels like he will lose his mind. After all, in a couple of hours, the show starts. He gets up and calls Yutaro to hang out. Yutaro's busy, but also goes, "Wait, isn't Miyuki's performance?" Shinichi puts down the call. He wanders the streets. No matter where he goes, all of them painted with many memories of the friendship he had. He needs to vent, but how? The batting cages are empty. He sits staring into space. His emotions pile up without any chance of release. Time ticks by slowly. Secretly, he had gotten his hopes up, convinced that here, where he had changed Miyuki's fate, he could change his. But he couldn't hit a single ball. He never even swung. He then hears a familiar sound, a meow, and soon he sees Aoi too. He bombards her with question after question without any time for her to respond. Guesses about her being back here to set things en route. Aoi simply says that she missed him. She was supposed to fade into the background, wasn't supposed to see him, but she missed him. Shinichi thinks to himself that this is too little, too late. He's filled with self-loathing once more, as Aoi asks why he's not going to the play. Are things sour between him and Miyuki? Did he kiss her? He answers no, she'll be kissing someone that's not him. Don't you want to? Asks Aoi. He shouts that he's done talking about this. How long is Aoi going to live in her fantasy world? Shinichi can't change who he is, and he says he's tried. God isn't real, miracles don't exist, and her God isn't real either. Aoi grabs a baseball bat and makes a bet. If she can hit the home run target, he'll have to tell Miyuki how he feels. The ball whistles towards her, and she swings her bat. An hour later, she's exhausted, her swing now completely off. She keeps trying over and over, the momentum sends her tumbling to the ground. Aoi says she'll never give up until Shinichi tells Miyuki he loves her. He replies that he can't, Aoi and me screaming at my screen telling him, yes you can! Once Aoi hits a home run, he'll have to have faith. Shinichi once again says God isn't real. She shouts is too as another ball whizzes past. She's met God, and God can update the universe. That means miracles are real too. Shinichi's wish can come true, and Aoi can hit a home run. The bat soon slips from her hands. She reaches down and grabs a baseball lying on the ground, then she flings it up in the net. Naturally, it falls far too short of the target. Aoi. She shrinks down, her shadow wavers along the ground. She whispers faintly. She says that for the past few days, her phone calls no longer get through to God. She can't save the game, and she can't update it. She asks if he thinks that God abandoned her. Was Aoi never a romance option to begin with? To Shinichi, Aoi seems so disconnected from reality. God is the only support she has. Without it, she interrupts his thoughts by saying that he taught her so much. Joy, excitement, sadness, pain, all the feelings in the universe. It's thanks to this Aoi is who she is today. Now she says that Shinichi is her new god. She asks for help, something to believe in, something to tell her that her feelings are valid, to help her believe in love. I'm obviously going to help her believe. God, women guilt-tripping me is my weakness, isn't it? Not only mine, Shinichi's too, as he takes the bat. He takes stance, focusing all energy he can. No clue what's gotten into him. He would never make it this far. Instead, he'd find a way to get out of it. But here he is now. Maybe he has Aoi to thank for that. He hasn't felt this way in years. He fantasized about moments like this. With perfect form like Miyuki's, he sent the ball flying into the home run target. The pitching machine fires the ball. He calls out Miyuki's name. His swing completely misses. He falls laughing some more. No excuse for that shameful display. He failed to make a miracle happen, yet he feels like he's walking on cloud 9. He thanks Aoi. With her help, he finally swung the bat again. He can just start over now. He asks if it's not too late now. Aoi smiles and says it's not. He's got somewhere to be, to go see Miyuki. As he gets ready to run, Aoi raises her hand and tells Shinichi he's cool. The coolest, saying until we meet again. A brand new Aoi will be waiting for us in another route. Shinichi runs full speed towards the play. He's a loser, pathetic, can't even hit a ball. Miyuki is way out of his league, but he thinks back to Aoi. Was she pathetic, swinging the bat over and over for nothing? No. With her help, he's now ready to swing. Whether it's a home run or a strike, it doesn't matter. All he has to do is keep swinging. His feelings for Miyuki were there from the start. He's always loved her. So what if he doesn't become a prince for a happy ending? So what if real life doesn't work that way? He's done lying to himself about how he feels. He fetches his tickets from home and, breathing heavily, barely carries himself to the gymnasium. The seats are basically full as he shouts out for Miyuki, all attention on him. He's only a tiny bit of a player compared to Miyuki. His lines are sure to be laughed at, just like the last 2 paragraphs that I had to read. Miyuki looks surprised as Shinichi says he needs to tell her something. He forces his words at full volume. I love you! She looks surprised, probably shell-shocked hearing him shout in front of the crowd. She looks like she's fighting back tears. Shinichi is still gasping for air. Miyuki says thank you. She's been hoping Shinichi would say that. He walks up to her, taking her hand. Haru interrupts them. It's time for the play to start. Miyuki, as always, masterfully deflects what she was doing, Shinichi going with it, to not destroy the performance. Shinichi shouts out for her to stop, and thinks, if she goes with the script till the end, then... Her persona falters, looking at him with a somewhat pleading expression, as if begging him to steal her away. But it's too late. Shinichi simply says, break a leg up there. Then she disappears into the backstage without another word. Brother, don't be stupid. Watch us smile and then you'll have the best makeout session of your life afterwards. It's just that simple. I mean, don't take it to heart. It doesn't mean anything, but no, 90% of the population has gone through shit, has gone through various relationships, and have done various actions throughout the life. And up to the point where it matters, it doesn't matter. Life is life, and when somebody's doing acting, this is what you get. A gesture that one might find meaningful or might have found meaningful throughout their life turns to ash, to nothing as life moves on, because it happens a lot. What people value in relationships and what acts of kindness, what sort of firsts you'll have with a person are different from person to person. I shouldn't be. Why am I lecturing? this you know. You know, teenagers are written very well and something like this. When I start fucking lecturing like I'm a dad or something, holy shit. Bro, being 23 is such a debuff. Kill me now. Hell, the best outcome out of all of this is someone feeling happy and warm, having to share even familiar emotions with someone whom they consider they love. Shinichi ruminates that it's too late to change anything. He's powerless now. She's going to kiss some other guy. The play captivates the audience as well as Shinichi, his eyes glued to Miyuki. He's becoming more anxious, barely following the plot. Something about a baseball player filling in for a spot at the girls' softball team. The male actor enters, and Shinichi feels tempted to run out of the door, but his body won't move. The climactic scene arrives. Shinichi can't take it. He wants to get out of here. He needs to leave now. He doesn't care if the whole audience laughs at him. Then he realizes Miyuki is supposed to be performing. She's in the middle of what's supposed to be a beautifully executed scene. But as the two draw close, there's a hint of misery to Miyuki's expression. One that only Shinichi would notice. He doesn't care about the play anymore, he only cares for Miyuki. He wants to save her, and to that end, he stands up ready to shout out as the two get closer in slow motion. He opens his mouth and... the power goes out. Shinichi is on the roof during the night for the first time. Miyuki soon finds him. With the power outage, the play was cut short. Miyuki shoots Shinichi a glare, thinking that he may have something to do with the power outage. She noticed that he stood up with a worrying expression right before the blackout. Shinichi says that she should pay more attention to her acting. Miyuki bites back, saying that she was doing fine right up until the kiss. She looks at him, asking if he really didn't sabotage the show. If the power didn't go out, he would have, but this time, nope. The club found a melted kitty hairpin at the scene. Someone saw a girl in a kitty onesie sneaking around. The club president is fuming to find the culprit, but who knows where she is now. Shinichi tells Miyuki about how he met Aoi at the batting cages, how she encouraged him to come see her. Miyuki looks off to the side for a moment, possibly apologetically thinking about their last encounter, asking how Aoi is doing these days. Their friendship is over, but seemingly Aoi still supports Shinichi and Miyuki. They soon both climb up the ladder onto the taller roof and look out at the vista of shining lights that is the town. It truly feels like the center of the universe. Shinichi mentions the school legend about the roof, the one about kissing. Miyuki's cheeks are red as she pretends not to know anything about it. Miyuki says that she doesn't believe in rumors, but she's willing to try. As they lean in close, Miyuki asking Shinichi if he'd make this place the center of her universe. They gaze into each other's eyes. Miyuki smiles relieved. This is the real Miyuki, the one only Shinichi gets to see. They close their eyes and kiss. They loved each other for so long, trying to hide it all this time. But now, this kiss binds them for eternity. As Miyuki asks Shinichi to promise her, he'll never let her go. Shinichi gets woken up with a bonk on the head. Miyuki has made breakfast for him at his house. Shinichi is bad at words, as Miyuki requests for a good morning kiss in exchange for breakfast. He wishes for these moments to last forever. Miyuki nags about him having no morning routine. He says that it's too early to worry, and she says we did kiss on the roof, remember? In her heart of hearts, she believes in the rumor, and she's not taking eternity with a slob. Complimenting her food, teasing her, Shinichi is living the life. As the two walk to school together holding hands, there are some sour looks. Shinichi tells her that she seems surprisingly calm, but Miyuki tells him that it's just an act. Her heart is pounding. He's not that good of an actor though, and I quote, "The haters can stay mad for all I care. Nothing can face Shinichi now." But entering the classroom? Okay, maybe he lied. Miyuki forcefully shoves him in. She greets the class, one by one. Confused, her classmates greet her. Some guys are staring daggers at Shinichi's direction. Some grin. A few of them come to clap Shinichi on the back, with a tad more strength than required. Shinichi thought they'd haze him somehow, but is surprised at how easily they turned around. But soon, he'll have to face the dark truth. On his desk sits a paper that has club resignation form scribbled out. It now says letter of expulsion. Shinichi walks over to Yutaro, telling him that he didn't expect things to turn out like this, but that doesn't change the fact that he's hurt him. He says he's sorry, asking if they can keep goofing around each morning like always. Without Chinchilla, the club won't have any members to exist anyway. Yutaro laughs, asking if Shinichi knows why the BD club always lacks members. "Because you're obnoxious," Shinichi replies. "I am, but that's not the reason," says Yutaro. "As a member of the BD club, you always have to be chasing your dreams, and now Shinichi has reached his. It's time to let him go." Yutaro hands Shinichi the letter of expulsion, as if it is a diploma, crying manly tears. Shinichi feels tears forming at the corner of his eyes as well. The club which Shinichi has been rolling his eyes at has now brought tears to his eyes. Shinichi says he can't accept the paper, crumpling it and handing it back to Yutaro. Even if Shinichi has attained a dream, it took root in his heart and turned into endless joys. It's time to find a new dream. Like a cosplay or something. Yutaro shouts various cosplay ideas and the concept of Miyuki wearing them. Shinichi says he gets the appeal. The power of dreams. Yutaro proclaims that dreams never die and eats the expulsion letter. All the while, Miyuki looks at their stupidity from the side. The couple again goes to the rooftop, having a little bit of a quarrel about the fact that Shinichi thinks they've got no reason to hide here anymore. She just wanted the two to spend some time alone together. They have a picnic on the rooftop, Miyuki waiting for Shinichi's opinion on her cooking. He lacks in verbiage, but she appreciates and smiles anyway. A lot of times he can't find the right words, but in the end it turns out he didn't have to try. He likes her like this, when she's not putting up airs. She admits that he was probably right back at the batting cages, telling her that she's trying too hard. Shinichi gives some unexpectedly good wisdom, after which he says he'd rather have the real her all to himself. She says the same about him. After she ushers him to say something, he says thanks, and immediately regrets it. Shinichi takes a sip of tomato juice, before remembering that it's gross. Miyuki asks why did he even buy it. He remembers buying it for a while, but why did he buy it when he doesn't like it? Miyuki now asks if Shinichi is into maid outfits and stuff. Since she overheard him, Shinichi basically blurted out all of his weird fetishes in front of the whole class. Wait, Shinichi thinks to himself, he's not weird, he's a nobody, so his fetishes are average at best. Yeah, I don't know, buddy. The point is, he needs Miyuki to think he's normal. She asks if she wore a maid outfit. He replies, I love it, without a moment of thought. He then backtracks into saying she'd look nice. He needs to be a gentleman about this. He says that clothes ultimately don't matter. What's on the inside is what counts. He'd love Miyuki in any outfit. Miyuki says she's glad to hear that. Maid outfits are kinda degrading after all. Shinichi is absolutely crushed. He may have missed out on a chance of a lifetime. He never thought life would turn out like this, having Miyuki by his side. But something is off. Something is missing. Miyuki comes to wish him a happy birthday, which he had forgotten. They have a small little celebration, just the two of them. All of this to Shinichi feels too good to be true. He just feels like he's dreaming. Miyuki asks if he'll change his mind when he wakes up. They'll be together for their lives, forever and ever, right? Her expression, serious, like she believes in the school rumor, like she can't tell fiction from reality. A kiss makes her forget all her worries though, as they share more firsts together. The two are back at the batting cages, hitting balls. Shinichi soon gets distracted by hearing a meow under the bench. It's a black cat. Miyuki asks Shinichi to get some pictures and hands us her phone. It's a smartphone. She used to have a clamshell. The cat sadly runs away before he can snap any pictures. Miyuki looks disappointed. As Shinichi tries to hand her phone back to her, he clicks the wrong button and finds a photograph. The photo they had taken together. Wait. Shinichi now notices no one is holding the phone in the picture. She suddenly snatches the phone, being a little angry. She has her diary on her phone, pictures of handwritten pages. When asked for why, she angrily says, "Free country, you know?" She wants to be able to look back at old memories at any time. Even in Shinichi's eyes, she's getting a little overly upset about this. He apologizes, but she says that won't cut it. He has to hit the home run target in her place. Can't have her calling Shinichi a chicken, so he says she's on. He grabs the bat, does a few practice swings, as Miyuki cheers him on. And unbelievably, as if with a miracle, the first strike nails the home run target, as if God made it happen just to mess with him. And that's that! You miss every shot you don't take, so sometimes you just have to make the move. Whatever happens, life won't stop. It won't stop if you wait and tell yourself that you shouldn't do something. Often more than not, the social consequences for doing anything end up being way smaller than we expect. Whether it's confessing to someone, showing a project, or just chatting someone up. Everyone has things on their own plate to deal with. Nobody cares outside of maybe a Reddit post about how someone tried to talk to a girl completely normally being shat on, or some small forgettable envy. After all, these choices may lead to a life happier than the one you had before. What a cute little game. Ignoring everything, what the fuck? Even if you're not motivated to get with Aoi, the mystery of why, how, and can Aoi be helped may permeate you to see where the other choices will lead. But sadly, that's gonna be for next time. But Dom, you might be asking, changing one thing about the reality you live in is not an experience machine. And to that I say, that I am not the first, nor the last to reinvent the wheel and completely detach it from any vehicle. You see, philosophy is weird. A lot of philosophical writing is about various views, beliefs, houses of thought. Mine's Gryffindor. For example, psychological egoism, the idea that people always act in their self-interests. Ethical egoism, that people probably should act in their own interests. The experience machine specifically being a counterpoint to hedonism, the idea that people live to maximize pleasure and to minimize pain. In our Nozick's anarchy state in Utopia, the machine is simply a jar one can choose to have their brain to be put into. It would be connected by wires to a machine that can let you live out any experience. When one experience ends, you'd have the discomfort of remembering that you are in a jar before you pick the next one. If one lives to maximize pleasure, the one single instance of discomfort, the operation to take out your brain, and occasional lapses in the illusion wouldn't stop someone. After all, it's more pleasure overall than anything else you can do in life. Nozick's concept has enraptured many to make their own interpretations of it, from movies to books to games, and of course other fields of science, mainly psychology. The experience machine has branched off into a plethora of thought experiments, many of which you probably heard of. For example, Joshua Green's version. You wake up in a plain white room, on a reclining chair with a steel contraption on your head. A woman in a white lab coat walks in and tells you that the last 40 years of your life were an experience machine, the program selected by you prior. They wake you every 10 years to ask you if you wanna continue the experience. Your loved ones and your life will still be there in the simulation, and you'll just forget about this encounter. Last time, you said yes. Would you now? According to Green, if this version makes you feel different, it's because of status quo bias, the want to maintain things as they are, the comfort of the same everyday habits and experiences. You, for some reason, opted in already, and the life you know is the life you have. So why wouldn't you? Plus, you know, no scary brain put in jar connect tube, no human body, just a blob of flesh thing. Philosopher, I'm going to butcher this name, Philippe de Brigard packaged this experiment for the energy-drinking, alcohol and party-driven university students with an extra addendum, splitting them into 3 groups. The first group gets told nothing about their life outside of the machine. The second get told that they're maximum security prisoners. Third, they're a rich old painter in Monaco. The ones who were told nothing, 54% said that they choose to disconnect, 13% for those in the maximum security prison, and equally 50% chose to disconnect when their given background was rich and old. This is all to say that whether someone connects into the machine is a thing that very much depends on one's living conditions. Most of what I say and what I will speak of in these videos isn't made up by me. Hell, there's already threads to set up in the next part about Totono. Some of the ones I set up now get paid off. I actually don't know if I'll make part 2. Maybe if this video gets half as successful as my previous 2. So through the next couple of videos, whatever they are, directly or indirectly, I'll be asking this question to you. When do you draw the line? Would you enter the machine? Why should you reconsider whatever choice you make? When is it too dystopian and scary? Too out of your control? I mean, changing one thing about reality is an easy yes for me. I'd erase a couple of political figures and corporate folk. You know, I think we'd all be quite happy. 20 cosplay girlfriends. Yeah.